Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel Explore with Neye. So I'm making this video today because a lot of people are confused on this relocation of a thing. All right, so that's why I'm making this video today. They don't know where to start. Even some of the videos I post, some of them will be asking, I'm interested, how do I start, how do I go about it? Okay, the first thing you have to ask yourself when you've decided to relocate to a new country or to another country is, what are your goals? What are your plans? What do you hope to achieve by relocating to this particular place, or by deciding to relocate? It's not just because you want to, don't do it because other people are doing it, or something. Is it, do you understand? So what are your goals? What are your plans for the future? So these are the things that will, if you are able to answer these questions, and then the route that you want to go through. Okay, which one do you want to go through? Which one is the fastest route? Okay, each of the routes has their own advantages, and they also have, yeah, they all have their own advantages. I wouldn't say there's a disadvantage. They all have their own advantages. All right, so you have to ask yourself question. There is the PR, that's the permanent residency route, and then there is the study route. There is also the work route. Okay, there are so many other routes that you can relocate with, so many other ways. All right, so but for the purpose of this video, I'll be talking about the permanent residency route and the study route. Okay, those are the two routes I'll be discussing in this video. Okay, so I welcome you all to my channel, and if this is your first time, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Exploring Neye, and in this channel, I give you and I share information on study, abroad tips, migration tips, traveling tips. I also bring global opportunities your way, like scholarships, fellowships, and so much more. So thank you so much for being here. And if this is your first time, please make sure to subscribe to our channel, and you will not regret you did. Okay, so when you have decided on the route you want to relocate through, is it the study route? So many of us, we have our reasons for relocation. Why do you want to further your studies? Okay, do you have a passion for education? You want to better yourself, you want to better your skills, and in your career, you understand what is that thing, what is that motivation? Because for you to migrate to the study route, you must have a motivation for it. So you have to ask yourself, what is my motivation? What is more that thing that is motivating you, that motivates you to want to travel out for your studies? All right, do you want to get world class education? Those are the things. All right, because that, I said, each of the routes have their own advantages. I wouldn't say they have disadvantages. Okay, they don't have, I'm not sure there's a disadvantage. To me, it's my own opinion, it's my own personal opinion. Okay, they all have their advantages. All right, if you're migrating through the permanent residency route, what are the questions, why do you want to migrate through that route? Do you want to, better your life, okay, for yourself, for your family? You want a country where your skill is being appreciated? These are the things that you have to ask yourself. Don't just, get up and then you want to migrate and then you just, carry your bag, and you understand, because when you get there, you'll be lost. Okay, so these are the questions you have to ask yourself before you choose on which route you want to go through. All right, so it can also be that you want to, a place where you can, raise your family, okay, in a peaceful or how will I put it, maybe where you can, have a work-life balance. That's where the country now comes in, like the country you now want to relocate to comes into play in this one. After you have asked yourself why you want to relocate, you now start, okay, which country do I want to relocate to? Okay, what are the benefits? What are my the options that I have? What's the benefits I stand to gain for myself and my family? Okay, these are the questions that you need to check, the research that you need to make to be able to determine which one will go well with you. All right, if you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. Okay, and I'll be sure to answer to the best of my knowledge. So these are the things that you need to ask yourself. Don't just get up and because other people are relocating, you want to you want to also relocate. So you have to ask yourself these questions. All right. You have to also prepare yourself, prepare your mind, because a lot is going to go into the preparation. You have to prepare your mind, your finances, a lot of things. Okay, because at a time you will get discouraged. It's not easy. Okay, but you can do all of these things. You can do this. All right. So if at that time comes, then that is when resilience comes in. That is when that reason, that purpose, do you understand? That is when that purpose now comes into play. And that is that purpose that now continues to push you. That's why I said you have to sit down to ask yourself questions why you want to relocate in the first place, not just because other people are doing it. All right, you understand? So that is it for that. And we'll be looking at the permanent residency route, and we'll also be looking at the study route. Like I said, they have their advantages, okay, which I have mentioned. There are still some other personal reasons that you may have that is prompting you to, go through either of these routes. Okay, they also have the work routes. All right, but that one you have to also check my skill. Is it something that is highly in demand in that particular country? Is it something that is highly in demand? Okay, these are things you have to check. And you have to, for some people, they start the job application process and it works fast for them. Some you have to apply to thousands and thousands of jobs before you can even get a reply. Okay, if you have decided that is the route you want to take, then you have to prepare your documents. You have to prepare, put in a strong application. Make sure that your CV is, because each country have their own CV format. So make sure you prepare your documents, your cover letter, your referees, and everything that is needed. Your years of experience. Okay, you're well experienced in that field. All right. Then for the permanent residency route, each country also have their own requirements. Okay. But before you start these processes, you have to, like I said earlier, make up your mind, make plans. If you have a spouse, make plans with your spouse. Am I going first? Am I going with my family, my spouse, and my children? If you have dependents like your wife and your children, or your husband and children, or who should go first, and then the other comes later. You have to check all these things. Okay. Permanent residency route is different for each country. The requirements are sometimes similar, but then different for different countries. Okay, let's say for example, you decide that you want to go to Canada. Okay, for Canada, yeah, the express entry route, that's the permanent residency route, is still same as the express entry route. Okay, you have to ask yourself, do I have the skill that is in demand in this country? If I have that skill, how many years of experience, of professional experience, do I have in this field? Okay, these are things that you need to also check. Also ask yourself, do you have documents to back these things up? Because everything is all about your certificate. You have to back it up. All right, so you have to make sure that you back these things up with your certificates, your work, like your employment letter, all those things, pay slip, all like things that you need to back up and say, oh, I've been working here. Do you understand? Then when you have checked all of these things and they are in place, you have not gathered your certificates, your masters. If you have a master's, you have your PhD, your bachelor, whichever one you have to gather these things. Gather them, each of them, the transcripts and the certificates. You have to gather them. Okay. Some will require for the express entry route, you also need your English test. Okay, so you go to each of the country's websites, check each of them, the kind of English test that they require, so that you can now use it to you can now prepare yourself. Okay, there are so many places where you can prepare to write your English test. Okay, or you can, if you don't you go to these websites or watch some videos and you're not understanding, you can now hire a private tutor. All right. So for Canada, the first step you need to take is check the occupation list. It's called NOC, that's National Occupation Code, to see if your skill or if your work, what you've been working in or what you've been working on, is there on their occupation list. It's called skilled occupation list. Check these things and see if it's there. Do you understand? If it's there, you now go ahead, click on it and read more on what is required. You understand? And of course, the first step, when you are done with all these things, reading up, And that's why I always say each of these websites I drop on any of my videos, I always say click on it and read more on it, because I cannot we all read different things in school. We are all in different occupations, you understand? So I can't start checking it one by one for each person. So you have to now go and check your own. They are doable. You can do them on your own. Keep surfing. You will definitely see what you're looking for. All right. So check the requirements. And when you're done checking the requirements and you see that this is something that you have, you now start your WES for Canada. This is now for Canada. Start your WES evaluation. Okay. And for you to do your WES evaluation, remember you need your certificate, you need your transcript from your school. If you have your bachelor's, your master's, PhD in maybe different schools, you have to go to each of these schools and you want to assess these degrees with WES. You now have to check, because they higher your qualification, they higher your points, because it's a point-based system. And while checking your occupation on the website, on the Canadian website, you also see where it says that you can check your CRS score. You understand? They will ask you questions like your age, your qualification, your academic qualifications, your degree, your highest level of education, your spouse, your English proficiency level. Do you understand? These are things that they will ask you. The number of children you have, number of dependents, their ages, their age range, and all these things. So these are the things that they are going to ask you. So when you have impute, you have to, of course, answer these things, and then it will give you your CRS score. So from there, they will tell you if you're eligible or not, if your score is up to the required score for nomination or not. And I think this is the reason why some people, like I said, the reason is different for everybody. This is the reason why some people go ahead to upgrade themselves to be able to get a master's, a PhD. It's one of the reasons. I'm not saying it's all. Do you understand? It's one of the reasons. Okay. So when you have done all of these things, and then you now start your WES evaluation, okay, you notify your school that, okay, you want to send your documents to WES, right? If you ask, remember I said if you have any question, drop it in the comment section, okay, and I'll make sure to answer to the best of my knowledge. So you now have to ask them. Your school will send these things to WES. You pay your school, then pay WES evaluation fee, and then when your fee is when you're done paying, they will send WES will evaluate your credentials, and then with it you write your English test and then start the process. Okay, enter the pool, upload every required documents, and then you're going to submit. And then when your invitation to apply for visa comes out, you're going to now apply, and then from there. So for another one is Australia. Australia will need a skill assessment where they will require you, still similar process. You check your occupation. Then there's always an assessing body. Australia does not deal with WES now. Check your assessing body, check the requirements, your employment details, your academic details, your educational details, your passport, international passport, that's your ID, your CV. You also need your passport photograph now, okay? You need your passport photograph, and then your employer details. All right, so you're going to gather all of these things and then use it for your skill assessment. So when it takes like a month, some like more than a month, depending. Okay, so when your assessment is positive, of course, I'm wishing you it's gonna be positive. So when it's positive, you're now going to use it and then write your English test. Some occupations during assessment will require you to write your English test and then before assessing. Some does not require that. So if that is the case, you now do your assessment first and then write your English test and then enter the pool. All right. So when you enter the pool, you're going to answer all of the questions. You're now going to your positive outcome. They will give you a number. You're not going to put all of these things there. Then for each province as well, some of them will require you to submit a separate application. That's a separate expression of interest. Some will not. The one you have done on the Home Affairs, it's okay. They will select you from there. And then when you are selected, then you will now go ahead and apply for your visa. Then for the study route now, what are the things you need to do? You need to get your certificates, your transcripts, your referee, those that will submit a reference for you, that they know this person, her academic ability or work ability and all that. Your CV, prepare your CV. Each school will also have their requirements. Some will tell you to write an English test. Some will say that tell you to maybe you've done your previous education studies in English. You get a letter from your school to submit as your English proficiency test now. All right. But some programs, even though you come from an English speaking country or your previous studies was done in English, they will still require you to submit an English test. So if that is the case, you can go ahead and write your English test. But if not, you don't need to write it. All right. So when you have done all of these things, you can now write your statement. You can maybe your statement of purpose, depending on what the program is asking for, your personal statement or your motivational letter. The school will always have topics that you are going to now expatiate on while writing your statement. And of course, you have to submit a strong application. Some master's programs by research and PhD programs will require you to secure a supervisor. And if that is the case, you want to go for studies next year, you have to start this year to look for supervisors. These are information I'm giving you for free, please. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay, to encourage us to do more. All right. So that is it for that. Then you now gather the remaining documents and then apply to the school. All right. So when you're submitting your application, you can first create your account. Okay, by creating your account, you have to your date of birth, correct date of birth. Okay, for ladies, if you're married, do your change of name. All right. Then for the men, maybe you changed your name previously or family name or something. You have to get a change of name, an affidavit. All right, of change of name and your newspaper publication. You match these items together, and then you're also going to upload it. If not, if you don't upload it and the name differs, the school will always request for it. All right, so you are going to now create your account. Then they will send you an email. So make sure that email is a working email. They will send you an email. From there, you're now going to access a link through which you can now submit your application. All right. So you follow the prompt, submit everything that is being asked of you, your supervisors, that's your referees. Now also notify them that you are applying, you've started your applications, and then each school you apply to, notify those who are submitting reference letters for you. You have to notify them because some schools will require you to just put in their email, and it has to be a professional email as well, a professional email address. Okay, put in their professional email address, their affiliations, their phone numbers with the country code. Remember, okay, so when you have put in these things, then the school will send this form to your supervisor's email. Remind them that you have submitted an application to check their email. It has to be a professional email so that they can check, okay, and then submit this reference letter for you. Some programs will require 1 referee, some 2, some 3, okay, and some will require maybe 3 academic references, okay. Some programs will require you to get 3 references. You can get 2 from academic and 1 from professional. That's your workplace. Where you're working. It's optional. You can still submit 3 academic references. But in a situation where you only have 2 academic references, you can still go ahead and submit 1 professional reference. And their email has to be a professional email, not personal. It has to be the referee's first name and second name at the school. Now, maybe at Unio or Uniport or any like your school. .edu.ng. I hope you understand. If you don't understand, please ask me. The comment section is open. You can ask me questions there. All right. So that is it for your school application. So when I post any website, any video, you watch the video, check the website, check the what pertains to you, so you can now read more on that and be able to submit your application. And I hope this video is clear. All right. So whichever pathway you choose, it is okay. And one more thing, for study routes, also make sure, because you may want to stay behind after study. So make sure that your course is postgraduate permit eligible, and that your program, your field of study is in that country's occupation list. Okay, because you might want to stay behind permanently, or you might want to go back to your country, whichever one. Okay, so these informations I'm giving you for free. So please encourage me by subscribing. All right, so make sure you check these things out before you go ahead with that program or with that field. All right, so I want to say a very big thank you for those of you who stayed to the end. Thank you so much, and thank you to all my returning subscribers. If you are also new to this channel, you are welcome. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will also bring you more videos. So I'm going to see you in my next video.